Greetings, planty people. Welcome back to my jungle. So today's video is all about autumn and winter plant care, because if this is your first time keeping house plants, it's a little bit different in autumn and winter, and if you're stuck doing a routine, you might want to change that, and I'll let you know exactly what to do. See, a lot of people aren't a big fan of the colder seasons, but I'm such an autumn girl, so I'm fine with it. So there are a few factors to think about. So we're going to be getting a lot less light, especially if you're in England. It's quite a nice day today, but when we get to February and January, it's very dark and dismal, and our plants will notice. I've already noticed that my plants are starting to slow down a little bit, and I've been getting a lot less light. See, I have a window kind of 3 meters away, and I'm usually fine and don't have to use my grow lights, only really for this corner, depending on what time of day it is. But I've been having to use the grow light above me because it's just not cutting it, and I've noticed my plants trying to lean a bit more than usual. So if you're getting less light in your room, apartment, wherever you are and wherever your plants are, maybe consider jigging your collection around a little bit. For example, I've moved a few things closer to the front that require a bit more light, like my anthurium, because they were getting a bit leany, and I don't want leany plants. They were getting a bit leggy. And if you've got really sun-loving plants, definitely move them closer to the window if you can. For example, downstairs I have all my Hoyas. Recently, when we had that really hot bout in the summer, they were getting a bit too sun-stressed and I moved them back. But now, the opportunity of it being darker, I've moved them close to the window again, and they're fine. I think some of them are okay, but my Crinkle 8 was getting a bit sun-bleached. Soz Queen, I had to chop her back a little bit. And also, if you do have grow lights, I recommend using them a little bit more than usual. They don't have to be on all the time. I don't have them on all the time. I also have a timer plug, so if I'm out and about or away for a few days and it's very dark, I can have them on for just a couple hours while I'm away without, faffing about and leaving them on. You don't want to leave them on all day. Don't do that. And the ones I use are from Grow Gang. I've talked about this before. They're my favourite ones. They're the most eco-friendly, cost-effective ones, and they're just great. I actually like this one behind me. I sometimes use it as ambient lighting because I don't like the big light. I have, I can't even remember the last time I used the big light. It's either grow lights or my fairy lights or a candle. I do like a candle. It's candle season. But I do have a code if you want 10% off down below. If you want 10% off Grow Gang, they are fabulous. Easy to install. If I can install one, you can install one. So yeah, grow lights, definitely. If you do have a darker situation, I do recommend getting some. I've even got some cheaper ones from Amazon for my prop boxes over there, which I've started to turn on again because that part of my room gets less sun throughout the day now that it's autumn. Now, as our plants are adjusting to the season, and it's a little bit chillier as well, you might notice a few of your plants obviously slowing down. That's normal, don't fret. But you might notice a little bit more shedding of their leaves. That's also normal as well. So don't panic if some of the lower leaves just kind of randomly fall off. It's fine. First time it happened to me, I was a bit like, so I literally checked every single plant for pests or root rot. I was fine. But it was just because of the season. So don't panic. It happens. Think about it. All the trees outside, because it's colder outside, they drop leaves. It's fine. They do that. Obviously, if it drops all its leaves, then that's an issue. Maybe have a look at its roots. Also, now that it's colder, you will notice your plants drying out a lot slower. So definitely reduce your watering even more than you usually do, because if you're going to be watering like normal, like you did in the summer, you're just going to rot all your plants, and you don't want that. That's going to be really sad because root rot's really hard to recover from, and it's also a lot less humid as well. I don't know if you've noticed, but my lips get really sore at the beginning of autumn, and that's how I know that the humidity's gone way down. So if you're in more of a drier climate, definitely maybe even get a humidifier. if you want your plants to not be as crispy, because think about it, if you're going to be crispy, your plants are going to be crispy, like Miss Girl behind me. I personally don't use a humidifier because all of mine are quite close together, and in the UK we don't really have an issue with low humidity, but if you do have your heating on, it will also dry out the air a lot quicker than usual. And if your plants are around a radiator, maybe try and move them a little bit away, because you will cook them and they'll get crispy and you don't want to do that. Luckily my radiator's over there, and I purposely don't keep any plants around it. I don't have the heating on yet. I don't really use the heating. It's expensive. And I overheat really quickly anyway, and it's fine in here. So just keep that in mind if your plants are near a radiator, that it will burn them if they are close and dry them out quicker. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention, if your plants are touching a window and it's quite a sensitive plant, for example, let me think off the top of my head, like a coleus or something thin and papery, maybe a philodendron or an alocasia. If we have one of those cold frosty days and your windows are freezing cold, make sure they're not touching the window, because that will aggravate the leaves if it's really, really cold. I mean, you won't have to worry about that for a while, but do just keep that in mind. Some of the plants like Hoyas, the thicker ones, they'd probably be fine, but just keep an eye. If your windows are cold and your plants are touching them, your plants will be cold. And if they're tropical, they won't like that at all. The next point, fertilising your plants. Now there is a little bit of a debate with this one, because a lot of people argue that you don't need to fertilise them in the winter because they kind of go through a semi-dormancy period. But I say, as long as your plant is still actively growing, even if it's slow, keep fertilising. But I do take it back a little bit. I don't use a chemical fertiliser, I use a seaweed one from aquaculture, so if I did over fertilise it, it wouldn't actually harm the plant. But I would definitely look into which one you're using, because apparently it can harm the plant if you over fertilise, but I've never really noticed that. So do a little bit of research on your own fertiliser, but I would continue using, just don't overdo it, just in case. All my legs gone dead. Now let's talk about pests. So, related to the previous point about overwatering, if you do continue to water like normal, you will most likely get a lot of fungus gnats, because obviously your plants aren't drying out as quick. So this is another sign to definitely take the watering back a bit, because fungus gnats, they're addicted to the wet soil and any rotting matter. So a lot of people do notice a bit of an influx with fungus gnats. Luckily, I keep mine kind of under control. I definitely have reduced my watering throughout the years, and I think I've got it to a T at the moment. And I do have a little Pinguicola carnivorous plant over there that she can have a snack every so often. You might get the odd fungus gnat, just if it's a lot, then definitely have a look at your soil. If it's wet, that's the issue. And because our houses are warmer, obviously, than the outdoors, you might notice a bit more pest activity, because obviously they're coming from outside. They're going, oh, it's warm in here, it's a little jungle. So definitely I would keep an eye on your pest situation. I have been giving my plants showers whenever they need a water at the moment, just to prep, just in case, because you don't want pests when they are not growing as much, because they're not going to recover as quick, are they? Now with repotting, I try not to repot in the winter as much, because, you know, they're kind of semi-dormant. They might go into a bit more shock if you were to bother it as much, but I only really repot things in the winter if it's really, really root bound and the plant's struggling a little bit. I don't really refresh soil in the winter because it's fine. I just usually wait till spring when they start actually like doing things again. It's not the end of the world if you do repot in winter. I'd maybe get busy about now, to be honest. I like to get it kind of out the way out the way, so I don't really need to do anything in winter, because I find your plants appreciate it more in the warmer months. I think that's pretty much everything. There's not a lot to it, but the main points are lighting. Make sure your plants are getting enough light, otherwise they'll just suffer a little bit. And definitely keep an eye on your watering. Take a step back. If the plant's still wet, don't water it. That's the golden rule. So let me know if you've got any more tips and tricks, leave them down below. let's help each other out, because some people, this is their first winter with plants. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it seems. These are just some little tips and tricks to help you get through it and to make sure that your plants are happy as well. I hope you all have a lovely day, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm really excited for spooky season. I'll be doing like a spooky ooky plant suggestion video soon because I like weird plants, as you know. I will leave all my social medias down below. If you want a discount code for Grow Gang, Grow Lights, it's also down there too. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!